Before streaming. Before smartphones. Before algorithms picked our next obsession, there was a place. Not online. Not on your phone. A physical place, filled with choices. Filled with stories. Filled with people. It was a Friday night tradition. You'd get in the car with your family, drive past the usual stores, and see that familiar blue and yellow sign glowing through the dusk. Blockbuster. You walked in and were instantly hit with the cold whoosh of air conditioning and the scent of plastic cases and old carpeting. The walls were lined with new releases. The middle aisles were full of hidden gems. There was the candy rack. The video game corner. And always that one guy who worked there, wearing the branded polo, rewinding tapes behind the counter. It wasn't just a store. It was the store. And for a generation, it was home. But Blockbuster's story isn't just about a place. It's about a rise. And a fall. It starts in 1985, in Dallas, Texas. A man named David Cook had an idea. He wasn't a filmmaker. He wasn't even in entertainment. He was a software guy. But that gave him an edge. He looked at the chaos of video rental stores at the time, poorly organized, limited stock, sketchy selection, and thought, there's a better way. So he built it. Rows of the latest releases. Bright lighting. Clean layout. Computerized inventory. Blockbuster was the first to apply big box logic to movies. And people loved it. In just 2 years, Blockbuster went from a single store to a national sensation. Investors poured in. Franchises exploded. By the early 1990s, they had stores in every major city, every suburban neighborhood, and even some rural towns. At its peak, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores in 25 countries. It was opening one new location every 17 hours. The numbers were staggering. Tens of millions of members. Billions in annual revenue. Hundreds of thousands of employees. And it wasn't just about renting movies. It was about the experience. You'd spend 20 minutes browsing. Reading backs of VHS tapes. Arguing with your siblings. Negotiating with your parents. Finding that one film you didn't even know you were looking for. And employees? They lived it too. For many, working at Blockbuster was a dream job. Free rentals. Preview nights. Being the person who knew what was in before anyone else. But it wasn't all fun and tapes. Blockbuster's business model had a secret weapon. One that most people hated. Late fees. If you forgot to return your rental, the fees stacked up. What started as a $3 movie could become $15 or more. It felt unfair. Punitive. Greedy. But Blockbuster didn't care. In fact, by the late 1990s, late fees made up nearly $800 million of its revenue per year. And because they were the biggest, they could get away with it. There was no real competition. Until there was. In 1997, a small company launched on the internet. Netflix. Its motto? Rent DVDs online. Get them in the mail. Keep them as long as you want. No late fees. At first, it was slow. Clunky. Inconvenient. Blockbuster executives barely noticed. They saw Netflix as a novelty. Something for tech geeks. Not a threat. But Netflix was playing the long game. They weren't building stores. They were building data. They tracked customer preferences. They built a recommendation engine. They created a frictionless experience. No driving. No lines. No due dates. Blockbuster, meanwhile, kept expanding. In 2000, Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix, walked into Blockbuster's office and offered to sell the entire company for $50 million. He had a proposal. Let Netflix run the online side. Blockbuster would promote it in stores. Together, they'd dominate both fronts. Blockbuster's CEO laughed him out of the room. He saw Netflix as a joke. That meeting would become legendary. And tragic. Because while Blockbuster stuck to what worked, Netflix prepared for what was coming. As broadband internet expanded in the early 2000s, Netflix gained traction. Their red envelopes became a fixture in mailboxes across America. Their subscriber base grew from thousands to millions. They introduced a subscription model with no limits. Blockbuster noticed. And panicked. They rolled out Blockbuster Online. They cut late fees in some locations. They launched Total Access, a DVD by-mail program that let users return movies to stores. But it was too little, too late. Netflix was lean, efficient, and growing. Blockbuster was bloated, clunky, and reactive. In 2007, Netflix made its boldest move yet: streaming. Suddenly, you didn't have to wait for a DVD. You just press play. The quality wasn't perfect. The library was limited. But the potential? Massive. Blockbuster had the chance to respond. They had the money, the brand, the customer base. But they didn't believe in streaming. At least, not fully. Executives feared it would cannibalize their retail business. They were right. But ignoring it didn't protect them. It doomed them. Behind closed doors, Blockbuster was in trouble. They were drowning in debt from rapid expansion. Thousands of leases locked them into expensive real estate. Customer loyalty was fading. Their stores looked outdated. Their systems felt slow. By 2010, the writing was on the wall. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. The empire that had once ruled Friday night was no more. Thousands of stores closed. Tens of thousands lost jobs. And the brand became a punchline. Today, only one store remains. In Bend, Oregon. It's part museum, part functioning rental store, part tourist attraction. People visit just to remember. To hold a DVD case in their hands. To walk the aisles again. To feel what it was like before everything changed. Because Blockbuster wasn't just about renting movies. It was about the pause. The choice. The discovery. You didn't scroll. You explored. So what went wrong? Blockbuster didn't lose because streaming was better. They lost because they refused to evolve. They had every chance. They had the money. The people. The infrastructure. They could have bought Netflix. They could have pioneered streaming. They could have led the industry into a new era. But they didn't. They laughed. They waited. And the world moved on without them. Netflix didn't kill Blockbuster. Blockbuster killed itself. Because the companies that survive aren't always the biggest. They're the ones that adapt. Blockbuster chose comfort. Netflix chose innovation. And that choice made all the difference. Today, Netflix is a global entertainment giant. Producing movies. Winning awards. Streaming to every corner of the world. And Blockbuster? A memory. A hoodie in your closet. A meme on the internet. A story told in past tense. But let's be honest. Blockbuster was special. It was real. Tangible. Loud and messy and warm. It brought people together. It gave us something to look forward to. It made choosing a movie feel like an adventure. It mattered. And maybe that's why it hurts to see it gone. Because in a world where everything is one click away, maybe we miss what took effort. Maybe we miss the waiting. The walking. The wandering. Blockbuster wasn't just a company that failed. It was a reminder that nothing is too big to fall. That even the biggest giants can collapse if they stop paying attention. That even a household name can vanish in the blink of an algorithm. This is more than a business story. It's a warning. Success doesn't guarantee survival. Dominance doesn't guarantee future. And relevance is earned, not inherited. Blockbuster didn't get beaten. It got outpaced. It didn't die overnight. It faded. Because it refused to change. So next time you open your streaming app and scroll through endless titles, think about that old store. With the glowing sign. And the smell of popcorn. And that movie you didn't plan to rent, but ended up loving. Think about what was lost. And remember this. The world changes. And the ones who survive are the ones who turn with it.